And good evening. Welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, April 22nd, 2019. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Yep.
Ryan's doing what Ryan does best. I don't know. Meeting strange men in dark alleyways.
What do you call him? A dick sommelier?
Yes, I
Yeah,
forgot I called
he's
him.
out there fucking.
I prefer cock sommelier.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't know. All I know it was funny, and I was giggling about it all fucking week.
That was actually funny. That was
And
a
I
good
dug
one.
that one.
Sometimes you hit them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was your weekend? Anything exciting happen?
I mean,
Hockey.
yeah, hockey. Like, I honestly can't
Basketball.
think anything else that's really fucking happened except it's playoffs right now, and that's where all my focus has been.
And now the Leafs are down
Yeah.
to their last chance to advance. They got
Yeah.
one more game left and they have to win. It's tied 3-3.
Yeah, so is Boston, but fuck Boston. So, I mean,
But pretty shocking. We never talked about how Tampa Bay got swept. The team that was supposed to win the whole thing.
So
swept
good.
4
Oh,
games. Bye-bye.
you know, I seen it too about a week before the playoffs started. You know, everyone's getting their brackets together, and there was some fucking like because betting on the NHL is legal now, right? So there was some
Right.
where they were offering like 5,000 to 1 odds on what happened to Tampa, but like nobody took that bet.
No.
Like, no one took that fucking bet, which is so
Oh, but
terrible.
even if you just put like $1 down.
Yeah, that's
Oh
50
my
grand,
god.
Like-
oh my gosh.
right? Yeah, that's $50,000 for doing nothing.
Oh my gosh. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Put $100 on it, and you're fucking laughing.
It's worth it to, like, I mean, if I gambled,
Exactly.
it'd be worth it just to
Yeah.
even put a $10 bet down. Because you know what? Sometimes you got to play those crazy odds.
And that's why I'm happy I don't fucking gamble.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy I don't have that bone in me, because even when I saw that, I thought about, like, fuck, man, if you just, like, again, you throw fucking $100 on that, like, whatever, it's just
Yeah.
$100. I waste $100 on stupid shit all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then you fucking, you literally do nothing in $500,000, you know? But
Yeah, well, there's these people that are like crazy with Proline. If anybody's
yeah.
listening, Proline is the legal Ontario gambling
Yeah.
game.
No,
And I mean,
sports,
Scott will play football on there. Usually like $20 a week or whatever, which I don't mind. That's
Yeah.
not too bad. But like some of these people are crazy and they
Oh,
like
yeah.
bet like $500, $1,000, but they buy multiple tickets too,
Yeah.
right?
I don't get it. I've known some
I play
gamblers in my
sometimes.
life.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like, you might get me out to go like bingo. I don't mind
Yeah.
bingo every once in a while. That's kind of fun, you know. Go get high
Yeah.
and fucking
Yeah,
chill
like
with the elderly.
slots. You have to slots with like
See,
$100
well, I won't even
and
do
have
that.
fun. But that's it. Like I'm not the kind of person that would like, take my my debit card and empty the bank account and stuff like
No,
that. I
I-
don't like to gamble that
Oh, I
much.
can't do it. But yeah, I'm kicking myself in the ass though for being like that, because I mean,
Oh,
fuck.
that'd be a good one.
Oh yeah, fuck them, fuck Tampa, suckers.
Well, our friend Justin,
Mm.
he was very happy that Tampa Bay got eliminated because he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
And every time the Tampa Bay plays, they have an after Tampa Bay talk show.
Okay.
And that delays on NBC. That delays Seth Meyers, which he likes to watch when he goes to bed. So he gets very angry that his show is being delayed. So he was happy that they got swept and eliminated. So
Well, congratulations, bro.
not much of a sports fan there, are Justin.
Hey, it still works.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
can both revel in their tears.
Exactly. Whatever way to bond,
Right.
the common bond.
But yeah, that's been my life for the last little bit. It's nothing but playoffs.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, and then we had, what was it? Was it Good Friday? Like every professional team that played in Toronto won,
Yeah.
which has never happened because
Never
we're
happened.
a team of losers.
Yeah. City, but yeah.
Yeah.
Easter didn't even register to me. Like, I didn't even fucking realize. Like, I put the garbage out and everything a day early. Didn't even fucking realize. It's such a non-fucking holiday for me.
I had a little freak out today because I'm dropping my daughter off at work and I'm like, wait a minute, what day is it? Am I supposed to
Yeah.
work today? And she's like, no, it's Monday. I'm like, oh, okay, woo. I got scared suddenly. It was Tuesday
Yeah.
and I'm like shitting my pants. Anyway, so let's talk about some stories. I think the big one you probably didn't see because, like you said, you watched sports the whole weekend.
Sports.
There was the terrorist attacks in Sri Lanka yesterday.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's some shit.
9 bombs went off yesterday, I believe, and 1 went off today.
today.
And they also detonated another bomb. About 300 people have died so far. They all went off in churches because it was Easter, and I guess around some hotels and stuff like that. So, but what's very upsetting to me about this, beyond obviously the death,
Well, yeah.
was that this obscure terrorist group, I cannot pronounce her name, I'm not even going to try.
Mhm.
They're radical Islamists. They were on the radar of the
Yeah.
Sri Lankan police or government or whatever you want to call them, their CIA there.
Yeah.
They were on there. They had been monitoring them. They knew that they had bought detonators and weapons, and they literally arrested 24 people within hours
Hmm.
of these happening. And but I guess they were trying to catch more people, or I don't know, but they
That's
because they delayed it.
yeah.
300 people are gone.
It's a hard fucking like because again,
Yeah,
like, do you go full Minority Report? Be like, oh well, we know these guys are fucking into it, so let's just round them up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we can't do that because we're supposed to be past that shit now.
yeah.
Like it's going to be 2020.
Well,
Like
and we
society's
see a lot in Canada and in America where they're like, you know what, we had to swoop in. These guys were about to do it,
yeah.
and we stopped them. They were going to attack. What was the guy that was going to attack them all down in London area, in Toronto, and Ontario? Remember that guy, the white guy?
Kinda.
Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago or something. The guy was crazed, obviously, and he
See,
was
there's just
gonna.
so much of this shit I don't even remember.
Yeah, and then they're constantly stopping what they say they're stopping terrorist attacks. So I mean, I guess Sri Lanka is going to have to really learn. I mean, they've been dealing with Tamil tigers for years and years, so you think
Exactly.
they would understand, you know?
And that I don't know. I mean, again, like just because they're known, it still doesn't.
Yeah,
As much as we want them, like as much as we'd want, like, oh fuck, man, like we know this person is eating up, an extremist fucking like manifesto or some
yeah,
shit. Like we
yeah,
gotta swoop in, we gotta arrest these people, we gotta get them away from the general public. I mean, we're not, we shouldn't do that shit. Because I
yeah.
mean,
You
like I
have to
said
have done
before,
something wrong, but I mean, I don't.
I
I mean,
read and look at constant horrible stuff constantly. Does that mean
yeah,
I should be rounded up? I mean, I'm not ever planning on fucking murdering a bunch of people, but I mean, I might
yeah.
read or listen to the same people these guys are, just obviously different reasons.
Well,
But
from what I've read,
it's
they
fucked
they
up.
were even monitoring their social media and like had seen their conversations where they were talking about detailed plans for their attacks. So I mean,
Yeah,
in my opinion, once you start getting into like details, like
yeah,
you know, we're gonna hit this hotel and it's gonna
yeah.
be within the next 3 weeks. Like, sorry, time to start rounding people up.
Oh yeah, no, I'm kind of in agreement, but
Yeah.
I think that's a fucking
Or
slippery
once you
slope.
see somebody, I mean, like what they caught the group up here in Canada, what about 10 years ago, because they'd stockpiled all the fertilizer.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that? So I mean, like
See that
certain
one
things
was
are a big warning, and when you stockpile detonators,
well, and that's it too, right? I mean, especially in like Canada, it's easy to do that kind of stuff because it's illegal here for us to get really anything to do like mass damage with. I mean, now obviously the
mm-hmm.
van attack and the attack on the Danforth, and even that guy in Kingston that was planning that, like he was
Yeah,
planning on bombing something or some other a little while back.
yeah,
It can happen, but it's illegal to fucking have detonators. Like, there's no reason why.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're not allowed to
Mm-hmm.
have that. So
Yeah.
it's easier for
That's why
us
it's
to
like
see
homemade
it.
shit,
Exactly,
right?
but it's
Yeah,
easier for us to see it and act on it. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know what the laws are in Sri Lanka. Like,
yeah. Me
I
either.
don't know what it
Like what
is,
their
but
weapons laws are. Like if
right,
suddenly it's against the law to own, automatic rifles, and suddenly
mm,
you've got 35 of them, and they know you've got them. That's a little.
exactly. So like, I can't really speak to that,
Whereas in
but
America, obviously, you can stockpile 7,000 guns and nobody blinks an eye.
no one
So
thinks anything. You have fucking tens and tens of thousands of rounds of ammunition, and no one thinks any different. Like,
just
it's just,
another
oh
Tuesday for
yeah,
Joe.
that's just fucking Stan. Stan
Yeah,
fucking Stan's
yeah,
wife left him, and this is what he does. Like, this is
yeah.
and like, okay, like,
Stan got fired from the post office, and
yeah,
that's okay.
he's just an American. Like, but I mean, it's fucked. I mean,
Yeah, and
because
it's very sad. Like I saw some stories. I didn't read them too closely because I just did not want to be depressed today. But I saw
yeah,
like a young girl, 11 years old, was at in the front of the line to get communion when the
mm,
bombs went off, and she's gone. And then I saw, a Danish businessman. He lost 3 of his 4 children there.
no, that's terrible.
You know. Yeah, I mean, and that's just like the two we know of. 300 people. There's going to be like
Yeah,
just absolutely poor people that have no impact on our lives, but they're
well,
completely gone, and no one's going to remember
exactly.
them here or think about them here.
Oh no, not. All the way up until this narrative stops serving its purpose for the people that are
Yeah,
toting it around as a fucking thing,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because like again, I
And
don't.
Sri Lanka, look, we know Sri Lanka's had a lot of problems in the
Mhm,
past. Like I mentioned, the Tamil Tigers, that was the
yep,
guerrilla terrorist group that was causing a lot of, almost a civil war. at the time. I don't know all the complete political backstory on it, so I can't speak. I know that that was a big deal and that those people were arrested as terrorists. And if they came to
Mm-hmm.
Canada, they were flagged as terrorists and sent home and stuff like that. So, um, and then now you're getting a lot of stories coming out where journalists are being killed by these extreme Islamics.
Yeah.
Um, Atheists are being killed by these. Not that that's a surprise, but I
No.
mean, they're being hacked to death in the streets for saying they're
Yeah.
atheists. So,
Oh yeah, no,
um,
it's fucked up, but
extremism is really hitting Sri Lanka pretty badly now, and there's your proof in the pudding.
yeah. Oh, it's fucking everywhere. It
Yeah,
really is everywhere, and
yeah,
as much as I've talked shit about it, like it is kind of time to even notice it here. You know what I mean? To
yeah,
kind of notice, like, hey, but it's just it's fucked. It is kind of fucked to me too. Always kind of has been. How it's always after something like this, like yeah, we all feel bad, and we want to fucking help, but
yeah.
2 months from now, no one's gonna say shit about this. No one's gonna
It'll
care.
move on to something else. Like, how many
Yeah,
people are
right.
still talking about New Zealand,
Exactly.
right? Other than to talk about how
Exactly.
they passed the gun laws,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People aren't talking about that anymore,
It's fucked up.
right?
And it's not like
Um,
this is new. It's not
no,
like this is fucking new at all. And you
and it's
think
not
that,
going to be the last.
oh, hell no. Oh, fuck no. I mean,
It just makes me so angry. And look, you and I are both atheists, so
yeah,
it doesn't, it's not affecting us personally because we're not like, oh, we're trying to celebrate Easter and this horrible thing happened to us. That's not for us. But
no.
it really is upsetting. And I don't care, like I'm thinking about the Muslim people that were in their mosque and they got shot by somebody,
Yep.
and Christians and, Muslim people for years when they get bombed in their, Middle Eastern countries and their African countries. This stuff has been happening and people shouldn't be killed. You know what I mean? Like if you hate somebody and you hate them because they're hurting you, but like just because of your religion is so ridiculous to me.
It's all they know, though.
Absolutely ridiculous to me. And
It's,
I know it's been like that since the beginning of
you
religion,
know
but
what I
it's
mean?
just,
Not even just
oh,
beginning a religion, just beginning a fucking
yeah.
tribal life. Like, it's
Well, there's
just,
always a reason to hate somebody, right?
it's honestly one thing I've always kind of said. It's still kind of a hard thought for me to kind of get out, but like, Canadians, Americans, I mean, we're different. We are new
Yeah.
world. We took all the good from the colonialists, and we've been trying to implement it here. Now, I'm not saying everything's gravy.
Yeah.
There's some bad shit too, but you know what I mean. We don't
Yeah.
have that old world fucking like fuck it. I'm gonna murder a whole village full of people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where everywhere where we come from. For fucking thousands and thousands of years, like
Yeah.
generations and
Has
generations.
been just like
That's
me.
all
Yeah.
it is. Like that's
Yeah.
I don't like the village next to me. I'm just gonna go fucking murder them, rape them, fucking enslave them, fuck it all.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that that's easy to breed out of somebody, like yeah, out of just people in general. It like I don't
And
think.
that's the thing because you think about it, like okay, let's talk about Russia and the Ukraine.
Mhm.
Okay, you know they're so closely related.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Intermarried how often, interbred how often. Yet there's still a lot of deep seated hatred
yeah.
between the two, and it's kind of like
For what
what do you
reason?
got to fight about?
Exactly.
But there's something there. They're fighting. You're
Yeah,
not the right kind of Russian. You're not the right kind of Ukrainian. This is our land. This is my land. It's crazy.
it's fucked. I mean, it's pretty much like, I mean, you can fucking definitely equate it to like just American gangs, the fucking Bloods, Crips, and that kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's the same
Yeah.
fucking. It's some
Yeah.
dumb fuck thing that started so long ago. Nobody remembers why, but no, I don't know. I just don't think this type of shit will ever be bred out of humanity.
I
And
don't
this type
think
of stuff,
so.
especially like fucking like on religious holidays and stuff, it's never gonna go away.
I
It's
think the
never
only
gonna
way
go away.
you could do it is like, like the old disaster movies where the aliens come to take over and we literally have to fight as
Yeah,
humans against,
yeah.
our alien overlords.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I mean, for fuck's sakes, the ruling class, like the rich people, have been ruling over humanity forever, and people are
Yeah.
still too stupid to fucking realize that
Yeah.
and band together and
Oh
fight.
my god, it's
So
so
like,
crazy.
so like to expect us to even like when the aliens come, to expect us to fucking band together.
Because the
Oh, we're
rich
gonna
people
rally
will
together.
still go work
No.
you had the freaking overseers, right?
Yeah,
You even
exactly.
even during the slave times, they would pick out one or two people that were black slaves
Yeah.
to be part of the overseers crew because then that guy had a little bit of power and he wasn't getting whipped and he wasn't afraid for his life every day and
Fucking right.
turn on your own kind. And everybody does that. That's not just black people.
Yeah.
Every
No.
type of person would do that. You can go to Greece, you can go to Italy, you can
Everywhere.
go to Ireland. You can go to Canada. People do it.
Nah, it's that. See, to me, that's the sad thought about it all, though. Like the fact that it's never gonna stop. Like we're too
No.
dumb. Like I mean, it was probably some stupid, cheesy fucking movie, but I remember seeing something where somebody said something along those lines, where like a person is smart, people are fucking dumb as shit, and it's true
Yeah.
as fuck. Like people as a mass, like you can lead us to hate and be as reckless,
Yeah.
as
Well,
we
and you see
humanly
these
fucking can be.
stories where, like, oh, a rumor went out that this lady in the village was a witch, and the whole
Boom,
village got together,
boom,
even though there's no witches in the world, and
boom.
hacked her to death.
Right? Fucking
You
puts
know?
a tire full of gasoline around them and sets them on fire
Yeah.
while
Well,
they're
I have a
alive.
story. I have a story that I have queued up about a woman in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So here's a young woman in Bangladesh. She was sexually harassed at her Islamic school, and she filed a report against the principal on March 27th, 18 years old, and a group
Yep.
of people lit her on fire.
Yep. Yeah, they did. Bangladesh is fucked. It's
It
absolutely
is.
fucked.
It is.
Like, I mean, I'm still mad that that fucking when the government was essentially silencing students because, well, not silencing,
Oh yeah, that happened
over the
last
fucking
year.
over the
Yeah.
fucking they were protesting road conditions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they had fucking government
Out
paid
of the most
guns.
benign thing, road
Right.
conditions. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
they weren't calling for the government overthrow.
No, but that's
They
the
weren't
problem
calling
though.
for the end to the religious regime.
Because if the people can get in the streets and demand a change, as small as it is, and they win that change, then what next?
Well,
You know what I
that's
mean?
it.
Today it's fucking road
Yeah.
conditions. Tomorrow they, want to stop being fucking raped. We can't
Yeah.
have that, or women are going to want to be equal, and we definitely can't have
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
it's fucked. And like I said, like I keep saying, and I mean, I know it's rather defeatist of me, I guess, but I mean, it's not going to fucking change. Humans, we're scum. We're fucking shit. These
Yeah.
attacks, all this misogyny, all this racism, everything like that, it's not going anywhere. It might fucking get pushed down underneath the covers, but I mean, I'm sorry, it's not.
I know. I used to always dream it would be like,
Not gonna happen.
Star Trek. Like
Yeah.
in Star Trek, the Earth is so like nice and peaceful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not.
we move past that. No, it's not gonna happen because there's always gonna be people with power and people without, and then
Yeah.
the second you don't have it, guess what you're doing? You're fucking turned to full bore hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, because we know that somebody who has power is going to misuse it,
Done.
abuse it.
right.
And then suddenly now you're resenting them.
And
Understandably, but still.
and I think that's what like a lot of these attacks, especially on like religious holidays, are kind of like it's a show of dominance almost.
Yeah.
As much as it is, you're going fish in a barrel style, like that the people that you're aiming for are going to be where they're going to fucking be. Like there's no what do fucking Christians do on Easter? Well, they definitely don't have at-home barbecues. Like I'm going to go to a fucking church. You know what I mean?
They
Like
go to church, so it's the holiest holiday.
right. So I mean, I get that, but it's just not going to go away.
Yeah.
It's not.
Do you think that if, say, all religion were to end, like say aliens showed up and made everybody question their faith and religion instantly went away, do you think that it would be less things like terrorist attacks, or would they just find other things? Now you're from the left side of the river and I still hate you.
Yes, that like it's happened now. You have factions of atheists that are fighting with each other because of the fucking political side they sit on. I mean, maybe it's not as violent as the Muslim Jew Christian fucking war that's been raging for fucking way too long. You know what I mean? Like it's not that bad, but
do you think
tribalism is a horror. Like tribalism forces this shit upon us, and that's again, like it's not going to go anywhere. As tragic as it is.
Do you think, like, what do you think? Because I think it's inevitable. Now, at this point, we don't have any, as far as we know, atheist groups out there committing terrorist acts, right? When it happens, because it will.
Oh well.
What do you think? I mean, what's the reaction going to be?
For me, it all depends. with the rise of radicalization, and it's all radicalization. Like it's not just like Muslim radical. Like it's even the Catholics and the Christians are getting a little fucking jumpy.
Well, remember the
as of
students
late.
that got radicalized in the 60s,
Exactly,
right?
you know,
and had nothing to do with religion.
So I have a feeling that it would absolutely be a religious based kind of attack if it is like an atheist fucking plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think because of the hubris that most atheists like to, display, like, that whole air of I'm better than you, like I'm more enlightened, but
I'm enlightened because I don't believe in the
I lift my pinky
theory.
when I drink my tea, you know what I mean? Like they're those kind of douchebags. I think it wouldn't be until like shit really hit the fan and like some fucking religious fucking, just crazy person kind of takes power. You know what I mean? Then I think you would have one of those. Or Scientology starts gaining any more traction. I definitely think you'll have somebody.
I'm kind of scared for the day we get like the first Scientologist running for like
president. Same here because they're fucking nuts. But yeah, I mean it's bound to happen. I mean, in the name of atheism, just sounds kind of funny because then it's kind of religious, and well, that kind of defeats the whole fucking reasoning behind atheism.
Here's the deal: when this crazy atheist terrorist group, radicalized group comes up, don't come and check me and Arthur because we're not down for that shit.
No, if I'm murdering someone, I'm fucking strangling them. I'm getting close.
It's like somebody that like actually physically pissed me off, and not because they believe in the spaghetti monster, or because they believe in Jesus, or they believe in Muhammad. It's gonna be because you fucking cut me off, or you came for my kids, or something like that.
And the other thing I'd like to say, like, I mean, obviously, I fucking hope that there's no fucking any type of extremist listening to anything I say, but I mean, have you not fucking learned that creating martyrs has never worked? It's always had the complete opposite effect of what you're trying to do. Like these three fucking religions, I mean, have been murdering each other for thousands of years in the same fucking way. I mean, yeah, sure, explosives have gotten better, and now people got drones and shit. So I get that the killing's a little easier, but
it hasn't solved anything.
You've done nothing but right. You've done nothing but create martyrs for the cause for the last 1,000 fucking years. Just give it up, man.
But nobody remembers your martyrs. Like, honestly, unless you're like one of those ancient martyrs that got sainted by some pope.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers these martyrs. Like, do you remember any of the martyrs from,
Fuck no. Why would I care? Yeah. Like, look, am I happy about the guys that essentially martyred themselves in, the Great War in World War II? Absolutely. I don't need to know their names, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and any asshole that went and fought and died in the Crusades, I definitely don't need to know your fucking name. Like, the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
Like, I'm here, you're
not. At least to some degree. Like, I mean, I'm not going to excuse the Crusades because obviously they were barbaric and horrific.
Yep.
But at least you could say they were not enlightened people. You know? No. Like, I mean, like, we're in 2019 and the whole fucking world, unless you're in some bumfuck little, village in the Amazon, we all should know better.
Well, you would think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe that's it. Maybe humanity's like, jumped the shark. Maybe we just got too far ahead of ourselves. Maybe
what we're doing to the planet, I think we have jumped the shark.
Like honestly. I think maybe that's it. Maybe we're just too far ahead of evolution essentially.
Do you think this is the beginning, along with because of climate change and disease and these anti-vaxxer people? Do you think we're on the beginning of our extinction?
No. Oh fuck no.
Okay.
No. Humans, we're too smart for that shit.
We're like cockroaches.
Yeah, we're too fucking smart. And I mean, again, like I go off about humans and our hubris all the time, but like that's one that I think that we can kind of look at ourselves and be like, yeah, nah, we're better than that, and we are. We're survivors. I mean, unless it's just some fucking catastrophic event.
Like, you can't stop.
Okay, sorry. Sun fucking rapidly expands.
Thing, yeah.
But all the old like doomsday fucking sayer bullshit. Like there's gonna be a solar flare and it's gonna fucking knock out all electricity. Well, yeah, that's gonna suck and some people are gonna die. But I'll be here. Or
if people will survive, the whole world won't go from that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, some dinosaurs still fucking survived. You know what I mean? They're flying.
That freaking tackle ray bird. See that bird?
Yeah.
The one that killed its owner in Florida. But he should own that because I saw a video of that bird like 2 years ago on a beach in Africa.
Yeah.
or no, Papua New Guinea, and that shit was scary. And I'm like, why did somebody own that scary bird?
No,
That, like, I mean, you think that your sister's emu is scary? This bird is even scarier.
I don't know. Those fucking emus are terrifying. It's a little raptor. It's a fucking raptor walking
Yeah,
around your backyard. The fuck's
yeah.
wrong with you?
That
And,
cassowary has like an actual. You know how like in the Jurassic Park movie
yeah,
they showed that little
yeah,
hook claw on a freaking raptor? They have that.
yeah.
That's what killed that man. It fell on the ground and the thing ripped him to shreds, man. What the frick? No, don't own that kind of bird.
Yeah, no
Stop
sympathy.
owning exotic animals, people. You're not a zoo person. You're not and I don't even know what you would call them. You're not an animal expert. Own a guinea pig if you want something different.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. Okay, let's talk about our next story. This one actually made me really mad. I don't know. It just pissed me off because I think it's a dangerous precedent. You've got this white, well, they were white,
A white
right,
woman?
right-wing militia down in New Mexico that has been patrolling the border and catching people coming across the border and holding them, which I understand why they're doing it. And I understand that people crossing the border are illegals and they're breaking the law. But I think it's a very dangerous precedent when these armed men are now, that are not officials and they're detaining people. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get injured.
I mean,
And I just don't think that they have the right to do that. Like, stop that. You're not the border control. You're
don't
not
they?
ICE.
Don't they though?
I don't know. I don't think they do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I have no fucking idea, but I mean, I thought in America, you know what I mean? Like,
But I mean, you
if
don't
it's
think
a
like
threat,
it's
you're allowed to fucking.
dangerous that these
Oh, do I
people
think
are
it's
just
dangerous?
yeah.
Of course, that's fucking dangerous. It's ridiculously dangerous, and especially with what we know about people and abusing fucking power.
Yes.
You know, like there's nothing. There's
What's
nothing
to say
stopping
that
these
they're
people.
not just going to shoot them and put them in a hole in the desert?
I wouldn't
Do you
even
know
be
what I
worried
mean?
about shooting them. You just said they were fucking confining them. They were holding them. Well, what then? You know what I mean? Like they could
Yeah, that's
start
true.
raping people, torturing people. You know what I mean? Like it's
Human
fun.
trafficking. Now you've
Right.
got a bunch of prostitutes.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
yeah,
And again,
yeah.
like we all know
I didn't even
that.
think of that.
Yeah. But at the same point in time, I mean, everything that I've seen about those fucking coyotes, the people that bring those people, the
They're
migrants over,
bad.
they're armed and they will
Yeah.
fucking kill you because that's how they make their money.
When they kill a lot of the people they're
And
trafficking
even that,
through.
they'll just murder them on the way and keep the
Yeah.
money. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's a little too gung ho for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like even if I was a resident of New Mexico and I felt threatened by the wave of illegals coming over, I don't think I would arm myself and fucking go
Yeah.
outside and you know what I mean, like play fucking sheriff. But at that same point in time, I'm not a fucking American and I didn't grow up on fucking cowboy movies and thinking that I'm fucking, the Sundance Kid or whatever other fucking bullshit.
Well, there was a little twist, which is not really that surprising a twist because we know these kind of people. Federal agents did arrest their leader, Larry Mitchell Hopkins, because he'd been using an alias, and Larry Mitchell Hopkins is a felon, and he's not, under the law, felons are not allowed to possess firearms.
Yep.
So he was arrested and charged with that. So.
Good. I mean, I know I've seen this shit for years. I know I've seen stories of civilian Americans out there fucking patrolling the fucking border, shooting at people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to say definitively, but I can kind of remember the feeling I got that it was very nonchalant. Like no one fucking cared.
Yeah.
Like people thought, okay, that's cool. Like that's right on, brother. You know what I mean? Like now I don't know if that was just a bunch of racists that I might be echoing or what have you, but I know that was kind of the sentiment. It was like, yeah, fuck, man. Like someone's got to do it. The government can't keep up with the fucking, and then this might have been like when I was young because I kind of remember like feeling I've known this little truth for like a long, long time. And I know Clinton was hard about, illegals coming across. So it could have been even around there. But yeah, I don't know. It's fucked up, though. I mean, it's fucked up.
I get scared whenever I see stories about vigilantes like the Guardian Angels from the 80s in New York and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we talked about it here, but the story of the Muslim group that's now out, like, kind of walking around and protecting people in I think it's in New York City, and I think there's one in London. I remember you said that there's the Sharia
came across
group.
the one, the Sharia police in London, yeah.
Yeah, and that to me
modest
scares
police.
me because when people start, doing that, you're putting like really anybody that's not in their accepted group is
Yep.
in danger.
Yep. Like again, that just touches on a fucking whole
And
huge
I get,
fucking.
like, I mean, I can't speak for the Sharia police,
Mm,
but I mean, I get, like, guardian angels. I get what their intent was, and I know there's groups
right.
like that in Chicago. I know there's groups like that in
Yeah.
Detroit, and they're like, they're African American groups, and they're there
Mm,
to try to protect Black people, and I get that, and I respect them in their beliefs and what they're trying to do, but I always get worried when ordinary people try to put themselves in a law enforcement situation.
well.
Because we see that trained police are
Hmm.
killing innocent people or hurting innocent people or making huge mistakes.
Right.
Now you've got people that are not trained.
Not trained. There's no oversight. There's no nothing. You know what I mean? Like you're essentially just out there, like I said, playing cowboy.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. It's pretty much a huge reason why I'm against like any type of carry of a gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's why I'm against that shit. I don't think people should have that
Yeah, at least
fucking
the guardian
power.
angels, and I'm assuming the ones in New York, I'm assuming the ones in Detroit and Chicago, they're not armed.
Yeah,
Right? Maybe they have a baton for protection. I don't know. I can't
yeah,
say that. I don't know. But I know that they weren't armed with guns. So at least people weren't getting shot to death.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not gonna trust the general public with
Yeah.
that type of shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
And
hey,
anytime somebody's in a militia group, I just think you're automatically a little bit crazy. You might be a lot crazy, but I'm just assuming you're at least a little crazy.
well, especially when well, because what's a militia, right? It's to protect you from the government. It's to protect
Yeah.
your sovereignty from the like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's fucking kind of nuts. And I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of understand some of it. Like I kind of get some of it, but at the same point in time, like you are the type of like they're always the type of people that that aren't vaccinating their kids essentially. Like they got
Yeah.
fucking walls full of newspaper with red yarn fucking all around the room. You know what I mean? Like they're making
Yeah.
connections that fucking nobody could. Like they're those type of people,
The gay frogs,
right?
plus the freaking rainbow cupcakes,
Yeah.
plus the
Yeah, no, like those are your like atypical like TV fucking
yeah.
racists like that, and I mean they do exist. But
Yeah.
nah, those people, I mean, they're a joke, but they're not a joke that should be taken that lightly because they're fucking nuts. Like they're nuts.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Timothy McVeigh guy part of something like that? Like
Oh yeah, yeah, he
right, like
was.
I'm fairly certain that's kind of
Yeah, he
like
was in a white alt-right militia supremacist group. Yeah.
yeah. But so I don't know,
Yeah.
fucking crazy bastards.
It is.
But I
It
mean, they
is.
own all those guns, so what else are they gonna do with them unless they're gonna go shoot Mexicans?
Yeah. So I mean, it hasn't said what this arrest, how it's going to affect this militia group, or
Yeah,
if the police are, heading down to the border and breaking them up when they're there. But I mean, all the governments down there are basically saying, like, no, it's not good. We don't want you involved in this. But I mean, what are you going to do? The right of the people to assemble by the border, right?
right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have to imagine that there's a ton of people down there that have like ranches and shit whose property probably
Yeah.
fucking is
Yeah.
on the border.
Yeah.
So it's like, with American law, do they not have the right to fucking defend their property with lethal force? Like I thought that was kind of like a big thing for them.
Yeah.
So, like, because let's face it, if these people, if all it really is they just kind of want to fucking, go out and enact their race war fucking, jerk off fantasy, that might be enough for them to kind of,
I'm
do
just
it.
thinking about now. I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point. You're talking about, people that own huge ranches and they want to protect their fences because,
Yeah.
these people would possibly break down their fences and their animals will get free. And that made me think about, you always hear these stories about, up in Wasaga Beach or down on like the coast in America when people have private beach property
Yeah.
and the public will then just trespass to get to these beaches.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of nasty stuff going on because people don't want, the public on their beach
Exactly.
property and stuff. So I didn't even think about that, but that's a really good point.
I mean, because again, that's kind of where just my mind was drawn.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
have to imagine like that would have to be the case in a lot of those places. It'd have to be. I mean,
It
what the
makes a
fuck?
lot
What
of
else
sense.
is going on in those like big giant plains down there if you're not ranching?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like these motherfuckers, like. So.
No, that's true. Yeah, no, that's a really
And
good point. Not that it makes it okay, but it makes
no,
sense at least why they would be so, don't come on my property.
so gung ho about it. And then again, sprinkle in like the appropriate amount of racism and fucking
Mhm.
that kind of, you know what I mean? Because this
Yeah.
is one of those
And
scenarios
like you
where
said,
you
growing up
do
as
get
a
the
cowboy, especially if you live on a ranch, you're definitely a cowboy,
right. You
right?
just
You definitely want to patrol your fence line,
now again,
right?
like that's an outsider looking in. I've never been that far south in the U.S. I don't know if I really want to go that far south in the U.S.
Yeah,
because
I
of my
can't
fucking
imagine ever wanting to get in New
preconceived
Mexico.
notions.
Our friend Justin does not like New Mexicans, I will tell you, because they always talk about the green chili sauce and he freaking hates them.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
That's
know
it. He
what?
hates green chili.
I see that's a level of hate I can appreciate. Like you're hating on a finer level at that point in time. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
not lowest common denominator shit. Like you put
No,
some
he's got a
thought.
real
Yeah,
reason.
you put some
It's not
thought
just
into your
because, oh, I
hate.
don't like you because you're brown. It's
Yeah,
because I hate all New Mexicans and their green chilies.
right. Exactly. Like it feels like a little more highbrow of a hate, and I
Yeah.
think that's the hate that we should all fucking strive to achieve.
Now suddenly you see the people start making bombs to get New
Yeah,
Mexicans and
right.
their green chili
Yeah,
factories.
yeah. It's too much cream fraiche.
Okay, so I want to do an update before we run out of time because we tend to ramble and get distracted. This is a story we talked about just I think a couple months ago. Yeah, it was in February. So we talked about the NBC station from Rochester, the weatherman
Oh yeah,
who
yeah,
accidentally used a racial slur on Martin Luther King Day.
yeah.
He said Martin Luther Coon Day by accident. And so it was a verbal slip. And at the time, you and I both kind of thought it was. We didn't think that he intentionally did that. They
Yeah.
fired him the same weekend that this happened. Well, he's now put in a lawsuit against them, which I'm kind of behind.
Yeah, fucking right. I mean, I understand if people's feelings were hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not gonna waste my breath trying to fucking. You know what
The
I mean?
station never allowed him to apologize or explain himself
But, like,
publicly.
Fuck out of here. You've never had a fucking slip of the
Yeah.
tongue and said something stupid.
And
You know what I
we
mean?
had the same story. Remember, like a couple days later, the same story happened with a different person, but he was allowed to apologize like almost immediately within
Yeah.
15 minutes or something, and he got to keep his job.
Yeah. No, that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel really bad for that dude because I mean, again, I know I've had slip of the tongue and said fucking terrible shit. You know what I mean? It's a mistake, and I don't mean a fucking sentence either. It's not like
Yeah.
I slipped of the tongue and went on a 30-minute tirade about the
Yeah.
fucking Jews.
It was
You
one
know
word.
what I mean?
One word.
Exactly. He fucking.
He's
Oh, fuck.
well, and I just watched a slip of the tongue where the guy was saying something about I didn't even know what he was saying, but by accident he said doggy style.
Yeah.
And it's an old white guy, and the lady next to him was cracking up. She couldn't even deliver the news. She was laughing
Yeah.
so hard.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, so I mean, stuff happens. Come on, we've
Right.
seen them slip where they've said the F word, they've said shit, you know.
Yeah.
But he's suing for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligent infliction of emotional distress. So,
See,
you know what? I hope you win, bud.
again, I feel like that's another little disconnect between me and my Yankee counterparts because I don't know what any of that shit is.
No, I
I'm
know
not
what
in the-
defamation is.
Yeah, I've heard defamation, but like I'm
and I've
not.
heard emotional distress, but I've never
Yeah.
heard of negligent
Right.
infliction. Like,
Like-
I accidentally caused you to have emotional distress.
Right? Like I don't
How can you
speak
get
by
both?
fucking.
How can you have intentional and negligent?
I don't fucking get it.
Yeah,
I need to speak sue people, I guess, but
lawyer
poor dude.
talk.
that poor fucking guy. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, hell,
Yeah.
there was that fucking guy in Toronto who yelled "fucker" right in the pussy on fucking news.
Yeah.
He got fired. He got his job back. You know what
He
I
got
mean?
his job
And
back, yeah.
He said that intentionally. Like he meant to say that.
Yeah.
He walked to the
he
camera and said
100%
it.
did that on purpose.
Fuck,
But
that
he
was-
worked for the same company my husband works for,
Yeah.
so and they have a very powerful union. So
Yeah, I want his autograph. Can Scott hook me up?
I don't think Scott knows him.
Ah, fuck.
Okay, so if I get any more stories on that, if that shows up, I will definitely update us. Let us know if he wins. But I'm definitely rooting for him.
Fucking right.
Yeah, fuck
Fuck
these
that
people.
shit. Yeah, fuck them. I mean, so
Let's.
I wrote in the teleprompter anyway. It's a Ron Burgundy situation. It's got it written all over it. Somebody's fucking with this man.
Now I've got another story, and I feel like this paramedic is going to try to sue. But let's see what our opinions are on it. So here's a paramedic. He's 16 years old, 62 years old. He's down in the States somewhere. I don't know where. And he goes to pick up a woman. Now the woman had some sort of injury to, like, I think an open wound to her arm or her breast or something.
Okay.
And they tried to put it in like an intravenous.
Mhm.
They couldn't get it in for whatever reason. I don't know whether her veins were collapsed or she was too like strong and wouldn't let them in. So when they called the hospital, a doctor at the hospital said, you need to drill a catheter in. So what they do is they drill it right into the bone, and it goes directly into the bone.
Yeah.
She didn't want that performed either.
Okay.
Right? So what the ambulance guy did, because he noticed that where he went, she owned like a crystal healing shop.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And so he had done Reiki, that the art of putting your hands just around a person and the heat from your body will heal them.
Okay.
So he did that over the wound. And at the time, that did calm the lady down because she's also a nutcase. And they went to the hospital. Now, he was then fired because he refused to follow the doctor's order to drill in the catheter, and because they don't go for no voodoo healing at this, this hospital.
No. Yeah, fuck you, bud.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so like this woman has been treating herself for I don't even know how long. She had a wound of about 12 millimeters by 8 millimeters by 5 millimeters deep. That's big.
Yeah.
Open wound. Oh yeah, on her breast. I did think it was on her breast. She'd been treating herself with that fucking colloidal silver.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Which obviously had not worked.
Yeah, no fucking doubt.
Right? And her and her husband were vehemently defending the paramedic, saying that he should keep his job, and he helped her. Well, she died like a month later, I'm sure, because she had too much freaking garlic oil and ginger.
I mean, I know I'm laughing at someone's death and like, fuck, man, but like,
you did it to yourself, though.
you
know what I mean? Like, I don't want to laugh at someone's death either, but she did that to herself.
Oh my fuck! But silver lining. I mean, well, first off, you ain't winning this lawsuit. You're a moron. Great fucking business plan though. Start your own fucking quack doctor fucking ambulance service.
Oh my god, I mean? whack doctor ambulance. Yeah,
straight up. Little sign, like a little fucking duck logo on the side that symbolizes that you are a true fucking quack. You know what I mean? Like,
look, I'm not going to say that there's. I get that like Reiki could be relaxing. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a relaxing technique. That's not healing open wounds.
No, fuck no. No.
No.
Like, why don't one of these people, like one of the real believers? Actually, we need two for this test. We need two of these, firm believers in this shit, and shoot one of them in the fucking chest. The other one, take a gun and fucking drill a bullet into that motherfucker's chest. Heal that person. You heal that fucking person, I'll fucking throw all my vaccines up right now. You know what I mean? I will build a house out of fucking crystals.
Drink all the ginger and garlic oil.
Oh my fucking god!
Cancer,
like, you don't even know.
Silver.
I will never, ever, ever wash my poncho either. I fucking never.
Jeez.
Fuck's sakes! What a bunch of fucking idiots. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Like, how dumb can you be? Yes, there was some fucking success with tribal people fucking healing certain small fucking things.
They didn't have any science, so they had to use the herbs and spices that were around.
Small fucking things, not fucking gaping wounds. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think all weapons were giant fucking chunks of stone or metal? Because the second you open a human up, well, they're dead. There's nothing we can do. Like, this is
didn't cure where the stone caved in my skull and my brains fell out.
This isn't Lord of the Rings. Like, Aragorn's not going to chew up some fucking grass and stick it on you, and all of a sudden you weren't stabbed anymore. Like, motherfucker, you have a wound. Like, we need to.
But let's use this to talk about the next story, because I think this is an amazing story. This is the story where using the HIV virus, scientists have cured 10 babies with, quote, bubble boy disease. So this is the boys. It normally affects boys. I guess it's carried on the Y gene, and this is why it affects more boys. These are the people that have to live in these, these bubbles made famous by John Travolta in the 70s. I remember watching the Bubble Boy movie with John Travolta. And you're allergic to everything. You can die, you can get infections, the worst. So they used the HIV. They turned it off so it wouldn't give you, AIDS.
Yeah.
But they were able to cure this. 10 little boys are now alive from a disease that affects, essentially will kill you before you're like 15.
Huh. That's kind of dope.
That's amazing.
That's kind of dope.
Amazing. Yeah, done at St. Jude's Research Hospital in Memphis. Young as 2 months old, they did that.
I mean, fucking parents have balls of fucking steel, though. A
Yeah.
doctor comes at me and like, hey man, like your kid's got
Yeah.
this shit. We're gonna give him AIDS, and we're gonna hope that works. Like, motherfucker, what? Like, you're gonna what?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, she went from her kid who was like, close to death. Now this kid gets to go to daycare with other kids,
And
you
tell
know? Like,
everybody he successfally beat AIDS. Like,
yeah, it's
that's fucking dope. You would be
amazing.
the coolest kid in high school. Like, yo, did you hear Timmy beat AIDS?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. That's a huge step, and not just obviously it helps these bubble boy kids,
Yeah.
but I mean, you're talking about a huge step in anybody that has some sort of, virus-based disease, you know?
I thought that Bubble Boy shit was always fake. I never thought that was actually real.
Yeah, I wondered, but I mean,
I kind
there's
of figured there was probably somewhere out there in the world there was somebody that was like I don't want to
yeah,
use the term delicate and then think that that's
yeah,
what I mean, but just that delicate to everything that
yeah,
they would have to live enclosed in something. Like
yeah.
this is honestly news to me that that's a real fucking thing.
They're saying it affects, this is the article saying that it affects 1 in 200 newborns, and without treatment, it kills them within the first year or two of life. So, I mean, you don't even
Huh,
make it to 15, and that's probably why we don't see a lot of stories on them.
fair enough.
And probably most parents couldn't afford to have a
Oh
bubble
fuck
in
no.
their house. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, if my kid had bubble boy syndrome, he'd be gone.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? I couldn't afford to have a, hermetically sealed bubble in my house. I can't even get the windows to shut without freaking mosquitoes coming in and shit.
For real.
So, but I mean, we love science. We love science
Yeah,
advancement. These are the kind of stories, where science is doing really good stuff. You
yeah. No,
know,
that's cool as
that's
shit.
amazing.
Again, like, that's fucking nuts.
And then we have the next science story we'll talk about, which I think was obviously written by a man. I really think this was written by a man, or maybe a woman with nymphomania. I don't know if that's a real thing, but sex could help cure hay fever.
Oh yeah.
So, when hay fever sets in September,
Hmm.
and this was done in Iran of all places as well, this study. Yeah, they say you have sex because the sex, the blood flow leaves the man's body, right? Goes to his penis, and that helps constrict the blood vessels in the nose and the eyes, which helps them from stop, running and tearing
Huh.
up. Yeah.
Uh, I mean, fucking right back and let me know how this works out for you. I guess, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
I am seeing that the two scientists mentioned in this article were men.
yeah.
So, okay.
I mean, I've seen some dudes do some thirsty shit to get laid before. I'm intrigued to see how this one plays out. Like,
Is Iran one of those places where you can rape your wife legally?
well, probably.
So, I mean,
Don't quote me on that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that is what it is, though. Maybe there's been some, the needle moved on the woman's lib thing in fucking Iran, right? And this guy's like,
yeah.
fuck, man, like they're waking up. They realize that they can say no, so we got to fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's fucking.
Okay.
I mean, it might be real science, though. I don't know. I'm not a
I mean,
doctor.
my husband doesn't get hay fever, so I can't really. You know who I think gets hay fever? Sister Patty.
Oh yeah.
Sister Patty, if you're listening,
Yeah.
Conduct this
Yeah.
scientific experiment for
It's
us.
for science.
It's for science,
It's
Sister
for
Patty.
science.
We need to know. You write a diary,
Yeah.
dates, details.
Yeah.
Let us know which positions work best. All that stuff. Okay, Patty.
I need confirmation of hay fever
We'll
first.
change your name to Patient One. We'll give you your anonymity.
Yeah.
So let's talk about one of the sickest stories I've read. And, it goes back to religion with us a lot, but this is just sick. And, how do people become pastors? Like, just because you love Jesus, do you get to be a pastor? I really feel like they're letting some of these annoying bros become pastors. Pastor bros,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the story from Ohio. I don't know if you've heard about this. So they were at like an after school kind of church lesson group that they like to do.
Yeah.
And you have pastor, just listen to this name, Jadeus Dempsey.
Ooh, yeah, buddy.
I mean, if you weren't born to be a pastor.
Yeah.
He said to the students, because it's coming into Easter, and he wanted to talk about the sacrifices and the suffering of Jesus, spit in my face. So some students were very hesitant to do that, but many had always wanted to spit in someone's face, so they spit in Jadeus's face. Then he said, slap me. So they slapped him.
Mm-hmm.
that to me is squicky. Like, I really
There-
feel like this guy's a sicko.
Yeah, there's no argument anyone's gonna make to tell me he was not getting his fucking rocks off.
Yeah.
Flat out. Like these new young hip fucking, pastors and shit. They want to do the same old shit. They just don't want to get caught the way, their mentors were. So this is how they're fucking raping children. That's amazing. Oh fuck, that's so gross.
And at one point he even asked them to cut his back with a steak knife.
Yeah, that's fucked up. And I would hope illegal. Like, I would hope you can't fucking ask someone to mutilate you.
I would think so too. I don't know.
That's fucked.
So of course parents found out and were horrified.
Yeah, well,
which at least the parents were horrified.
Yeah,
and they didn't just go along with it. Like, way to go, Jimmy. Good job about learning about Jesus. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they were horrified. The church that he was affiliated with are condemning him, as far as I know. But that's fucked. Like, I mean, I thought the people in the Philippines that hang themselves by the hooks and stuff were weird.
Yeah.
Dude, if you really love Jesus that much, go to Philippines and hang yourself by hooks. Okay?
That's fucked up.
If that was my kid who was involved in that, I would be suing you, Judeus. Honestly, in the States, you get to sue everybody. I would sue this guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, fuck yeah.
That's
absolutely
sick. Like,
no, that's disgusting.
Sick.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Like, there's people who pay dominatrix a lot of money to get spit and slapped on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that guy was definitely getting some kind of gratification out of it.
I think so too. That really grosses me out.
I mean, maybe that's just my bias. You know what I mean? Maybe that is
maybe we just like believe that because we don't trust organized religion.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm just not down for that cause. So it's like, it's easy for me to dismiss it as that, like, so quickly. Maybe this guy is just completely fucking lost and literally thought, you know what I mean? Like, this was some kind of big showing for his Sky Wizard. Because, I mean, like, they do stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? Especially these young devout ones.
Yeah.
Because they have to prove it. You know what I mean? Like, the church keeps losing people. They're constantly, like, churches everywhere, fucking all religions, all across, they're losing people. Like, atheism's on, not even necessarily
especially in Canada and America. Like, we're so open sexuality-wise. I mean, you got Cardi B singing about eating ass cracks and shit. Like, that's hard to compete, you know?
Right? Exactly. So, I mean, these young pastors and shit, they have to come and kind of do this kind of weirder, I don't know, it's hard to explain because I've seen some videos of these young dudes, on like anti-atheist videos or what have you, and just listening to them, they see that we all knew that guy in high school that tried too hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he might have been fun to be around like one day, but then you just never want to fucking see him again. They kind of have that vibe to them. Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked, in all honesty, to find out that this guy literally did think he was doing this like really cool, super rad, fucking like, I don't know.
He's gonna like blow their minds.
Like,
how we can all be like Jesus by doing something like this. This is what Jesus went through.
No, not at all. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
get up on your cross, Judeus, and then maybe you can tell me what Jesus went through.
Stop naming your fucking kids. Oh my fuck.
I like Bible names. I actually wanted to name Logan Ezekiel and call him Zeke because I think it's a cool name. But Scott was like, no,
it's not.
Because they're kind of freaky, like Ezekiel, but I like the weird ones like Malachi. Yeah. Like, I'm not going for like Isaiah because that's too basic. But like, like the real kind of obscure Jesus
some of the like the really obscure ones, and whatever.
Like, if I was gonna have a kid named Zach, it wouldn't be Zachary, it'd be like Zachariah. Because I'm gonna go full, even though I'm not religious at all, I think the Bible has some cool names. Yeah. Some of them can't say, like, what's that? I can't even say it now. Like, Ekabazir? I can't even say it.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck it is you're trying to say.
I can't say it either. Okay. Like, and I always love the name Balthazar from the Three Wise Men. I love the name Balthazar.
But like, if you're naming Jesus or one of the other like horribly white sounding ones, I don't fucking know it. I know John and Paul. I know a few ones and Pauls.
Timothy. Yeah. Denton Thomas.
Yeah. All these fucking other weird consonants you're throwing together. Like, I don't even think there's another word in English with that many Z's together.
Oh my God, I'll find it. I'll find it for our next show. Okay, so let's talk about our final story of the night. And this is one I hate annoying, precocious children. And we've mentioned that too. We don't like those kind of kids. And I hate when these kids get rewarded for being little shits. As far
Mm,
as I'm concerned, this is a little shit kid. So this kid's 5 years old. He lives in Michigan. He's craving McDonald's.
okay.
His grandma's sleeping. I guess grandma's babysitting him. So he called 911 and asked them to bring him McDonald's.
Uh,
The 911 dispatcher said no, she couldn't do it, but she still sent the call out to the police.
yep.
And Officer Dan Patterson, why does it call him a Wyoming police officer? This article says he's from Wyoming when apparently this happened in Grand Rapids. Anyway,
Maybe that's the name of the county.
oh, maybe that makes sense. Okay, so the police officer Dan Patterson said, "Oh, if he thought it was cute and made him laugh, so he brought the kid McDonald's."
I mean, I get what you're saying, and like, yeah, the kid's. I mean, how's this kid?
5.
Yeah, that's old enough to know better.
Yeah,
That's old enough to know better.
yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing that I take away from this is it's a positive interaction with the police and might fucking might have some positive effects on that young man's life, or it might turn him into a sniveling little fucking twat that just expects everything to be handed to them.
Yeah, that's what I feel like is going to happen. I did like, though, when the officer showed up at the door, the kid said, "My grandma's going to be mad, so go away, please." I hope
amazing.
grandma beat his ass later.
Yeah,
Little shit.
I don't know.
But, like, I mean, look, kids need to learn that, A, you have to sometimes put your impulses to the side. You know, we all want McDonald's, and we all want McDonald's brought to us. Do you know what I mean? We
No,
can't all have it.
that's a better lesson to learn as a teenager when that just comes crashing down on you. You know what I mean? Like let kids just be wondered by life. Like no, life needs to fucking shit on
There are
you.
a lot of kids, and they're in the store, and they're asking mom for this, and mom says, "Look,
Yeah.
I've already got this treat up here on the belt for you, and I don't have any more money, or just no, you've already got one treat." And the kid keeps harassing and screaming and jumping up and down. You know, like, no, kid, fuck you,
Yeah,
little boy.
yeah, I get
Fuck
that.
you.
But this little child showed initiative. It took it upon himself
To
to try to
waste
go out there.
taxpayers' money on 911.
Yeah, he went. Well, so he's got a fucking life in politics. He's already wasting taxpayers' money. This kid's ahead of the curve. Like he should be rewarded.
No, Arthur, no.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a little kid that you knew, you'd be like, that kid's a little shit.
I'm pretty sure I did something like that.
Well, I mean, a lot of kids call 911. I remember we were at my mother-in-law's house and we were planning my baby shower or my wedding shower, and your 2 nieces and my mother-in-law's friend's daughter were up in the upstairs bedroom and they called 911.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they didn't order no McDonald's.
Well, no. I mean that's that's a weird part to it, I guess. But I don't know, it showed initiative. It showed a fucking tremendous amount of heart. The kid fucking
We see
jumped.
a lot of these kids that phone 911 and save their parents' life or their granny's life. These are the real heroes.
I didn't say the kid's a hero. I said he showed initiative. Knew what he wanted.
I don't like this kid. This kid's a little.
And he went out there and tried to hustle for it, and I respect that. Who am I to hate this kid's hustle? You know
So when he goes to school and he takes someone's lunch money, is that hustling? Is that initiative?
Well, kind of. I mean, it's not the right one. I'm not saying that the kid's right, but I mean, like, hey, you know what I mean?
This
Like,
kid could be like 8 years old and be like, hate the player, or hate the game, not the
exactly.
player.
He's just trying to put food on the table for his family, and that food happens to be a 6-piece nugget meal from McDonald's.
Don't forget the toy.
Yeah.
And not those fucking apple slices.
No, you don't want no
Wants
apple
some
slices.
frickin'
No.
fries.
Yeah, fucking right.
And a Sprite. He doesn't want no apple juice or chocolate milk.
I don't know. I mean, again, like it's hard for me to see these kinds of ones and think, because the kid should know better. He's 5. You know what
And
I
he
mean?
must have known he did something wrong because he said my grandma's gonna be mad.
And that, but at the same point in time, like I think it's cute. Like,
I would have had my ass tanned. Let me tell
same.
you. My dad would have had that belt out and I would have been beat.
I know one thing for sure. I wouldn't have been the one eating the McDonald's.
No.
You know what I mean? Like the McDonald's could have come, but I wouldn't have been the one having it.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Hey, I mean, good on that officer. You know what I mean? I know they don't get paid that well,
Yeah,
out there
true.
just fucking, you know.
And I mean, and it didn't end with the little boy getting
Getting
shot.
shot,
So
kid, yeah, cop shows up, kids fucking playing at the cap gun. You know what I mean? Like, who fucking knows? The story didn't say anything about the kid's dog dying, so I mean, that's another
yeah,
plus.
that's true. I mean, you do have to look at the silver linings, I
Yeah.
guess.
Fuck, I want McDonald's now.
Oh, yuck.
Call
I used to
police.
like it, but I just find it's just like, I don't know, every time I find like now that I've been on these different medicines, I
Mhm.
find a lot of things that I used to enjoy, I do not like at all anymore. And McDonald's is one of them. I used to really like their little the what do you call that? The McDouble? That
Oh
little
yeah, yeah,
tiny McDouble hamburger?
yeah.
I don't at all. I don't know.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
trash
know.
food. It's not good for you. You shouldn't be eating it, but
Yeah.
oh,
Well, every once in a while it's okay for a treat. I go there actually quite a bit at work because I get a large pop, but then I don't put pop in it. I just put ice water.
oh
And then
yeah.
that gets me through the shift, right? Because I have a nice cold ice water. And if I drink all the water, I just buy a 10-cent water from work and fill up my ice.
Buying water.
So
Water's everywhere. There's a giant lake out there. What the fuck are we paying for?
yeah, but the water in my work does not taste good from the
Yeah,
tap.
because it's lake water.
No, but the water in my house tastes delicious.
Yeah.
It's so good, but I think it's because we're close to the treatment plant. I don't know what's wrong. Well, everything's wrong with my work. So,
Yeah.
anywho, that'll be our show for today.
All right.
Arthur's got to go watch hockey, I guess. I'm sure.
No
No
Leafs
least.
tonight, but there's fucking hockey on. That's for sure.
Yeah. I guess we'll be back Wednesday if everybody's around. I'm off, and
Right.
hopefully we'll be able to get the website working. And my internet's been okay this week, so that's good news.
Yay! Fuck you, Rogers.
Yeah, fuck you, Rogers. Thanks for listening. Have a good couple days, and go Leafs, go.
Fucking right.
Bye.